I just got to our Subaru store and they have the coolest car back here. Hey, don't forget to get your 5x entries right now to win my K1500, ChevyDudeStore.com. It helps out an amazing charity. This is a 2020 Subaru STI, and yes, I'm a car guy. Yes, I know about these cars, but I've never checked one out up close, and I'm excited to bring this awesome car to you for Walk Around Wednesday. I always love bringing awesome cars to you on Walk Around Wednesday, and I told you that we're not just gonna do Chevys. And I was just recently at our Subaru store, and when I pulled up my Corvette, this car stuck out at me, and there's one really cool feature that I love on this car that made me want to do a Walk Around Wednesday for you guys. The first thing that caught my eye was this awesome color, and we're just gonna have to put it on screen here because I had to Google how to pronounce that. It's called Magnetite. Magnetite gray metallic Subaru WRX STI. It's a sweet color. And the really cool thing about this color is all of that metal flake in it. This is absolutely sweet. It looks beautiful. And when you look at a Subaru STI, I mean, it just looks fast. A little disappointing that it's only got 311 horsepower, but we're gonna get to that in a little bit later because a lot of people don't leave these at 311 horsepower. We got the big STI wing on here. We got the really cool looking diffuser down here, much better looking if that was carbon fiber, dual exhaust tips, and we got the third brake light up here, which is cool because that is clear rather than being a red color. And just you look at the color on this thing, and now that we're kind of in the shade of how dark that is. We'll start right here at the hood because this is one of my favorite features on the car. Not my most favorite, but yes, the air intake on this hood is absolutely awesome, and it's tough to see down there, but there's actually like little fins to like cut up the air and whatnot. And then that beautiful boxer engine under here. I love how they have this all red. I don't know if that's powder coated or what that is, but obviously it has to be able to withstand a lot of heat, which is awesome. And you know, it's a dual overhead cam engine with a turbo on there, which we love turbos. And I mentioned earlier in the video that this is like one of the first times I've ever been up real close. Like I've been around these cars at car shows and stuff, but when they have the hood open, it looks nothing like this. Man, I'm telling you, there's a whole lot of stuff different from what I see at car shows. We're gonna talk about some of the mods that you can do to this engine, what type of horsepower you can get out of this, and how reliable it is as well. And you can always tell a modded versus a non-modded STI because there's usually a little silver intercooler down there. Nothing on this particular one, but yeah, definitely needs one. What do you guys think? We'll hop on the inside of the vehicle, and the very first thing that I notice is some amazing detail that Subaru does. Alcantara with red stitching, gloss black finishes around the windows and mirror controls right there. You got the nice black right here as well. I think they could probably use a little bit nicer leather on the steering wheel, but it is a leather wrap steering wheel with the red stitching on here as well. And good leather up here. It feels kind of cheap, but it's got that grain interior. So, but it looks good, and it's not cheap plastic like this stuff is right here or what's on the door. But you don't really notice that stuff until later on and you really deep dive into the car. But this Alcantara and the red stitching and the black accents are amazing. And then we head right over to the Recaro seats with all of this Alcantara. Absolutely amazing. And I love how awesome this red piping is, how it comes down into here, and the red accents on the edge of the bolsters is amazing as well. And there's a whole lot of stuff in here that looks really cool. So you got your audio controls over here, your Bluetooth controls. Like I think this goes through the radio. No, this goes through the settings right up here. So when I hit that up arrow, it goes through like the digital speed and some of the SI drive stuff. I'm gonna show you that here in a second. So that's pretty cool to see that. I think the speedometer and RPM gauge is pretty basic, but that's kind of a Subaru thing. Basic.
That's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
We got cruise control over here, and you have a little bit more of that black gloss material right here as well. Over here, you got their outdated radio, but I think with this car being updated in 2022, we're going to see a whole new stuff because there's some new radios in Subaru, and Subaru's really stepped it up, and Chevrolet can take some looking at this as well. But yeah, the new radio I think in 22 that's coming will be pretty awesome. You got climate control down here, which again, pretty basic, but that's a Subaru thing. Basic.
That's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
And then up there, oh yeah, this is definitely a big key. Let's see if I can get this to go up here. You're gonna run about 15 pounds of boost with this car, and you can see that little red needle, I believe, is the max. And I was kind of playing with it before we got on camera here, and yeah, so it's not gonna go to anything out there. So let's see. Nope, just 0. We got to be driving in order to get that up over 0 boost, but nonetheless, it does pick up pretty good. We're going to talk about the acceleration, what I think about the engine here in a second. And probably the third thing that's awesome in this vehicle is the stick shift. You got to love stick shift. I've said it before, the only reason that I've kept my C7 is because of the manual transmission. I haven't had my C7 out in a very long time, probably 6 months or so. Wife gets to drive it, but I haven't really messed with it much. Maybe we'll get that out this weekend. But the key of it is having a stick shift transmission is just so much fun. You just can't outperform an automatic, especially when it comes to the dual clutch. But what you can't see in this transmission is the short throw. That is absolutely awesome. You love the short throw. I need to put a short throw in my C7 because having that long shifter does make for some mistakes, but just makes the driving experience just so much more fun when you're just short throw. And this could actually be a little bit shorter. It's still kind of long.
That's what she said. No.
But it does have a short throw shifter in it, which is pretty nice. And then down here is really their intelligent differential. So you can kind of hit the auto and it'll do whatever in manual. So right now it's on manual, and you can see when you're up here that I'm going to hit this button right here, and you can see that I'm kind of like locking the differential in and all of that stuff at different settings. That button right there, or you can just hit auto and it'll come back to the auto like that, and you will be able to like still push it up on that button there to like plus or minus it, but in a nutshell, just let the differential do what it needs to do, so that way you have the best traction. I've never attempted to do a burnout or a donut in an all-wheel drive car. And then you have a little bit more of the S-Drive functionality here as far as the curve ratio go. You have 2 type of settings that move this like this, and then you can push on it to kind of get more of a flat line. Let me show you. So you'll see that I'm kind of like in the middle there at the top, and then I'm going to rotate this one time to the right, and it goes all the way to the top. Rotate it to the left, it goes to the middle, and you push on that button, it goes to the flat line curve there for the S-Drive system. I got cup holders here, which is pretty cool. You got heated seats right there, which is pretty awesome as well. The 𝘊𝘢 center armrest, not a whole lot of room in there, but you do have 2 USB-A's, 12-volt outlet, and an aux input there as well. And then when you go over to the passenger side, you got some more of that awesome shiny black trim pieces on the passenger door as well. And then check out this awesome red seat belt. Oh yeah, that is absolutely sweet. Now they do have all this 𝘊𝘢 in here, and one of the things that they could have probably done is done 𝘊𝘢 on the A-pillars rather than this plastic. And if they had 𝘊𝘢 headrest, wow, would that be awesome in this car or what? But they just kind of use cheap automotive interior stuff up there because, you know, they put a little bit more attention to detail in other areas. We always have to check out the back seats of these cars. Being so tall, I'm a really good judge of character for back seat room, and you know, it's not too bad. That seat is exactly where it has been, and you can see, not my pink socks. What are those? Please don't make a comment about my pink socks. But I'm not touching my knees on the back of the seat because they have this contoured up and out right here. So that's pretty awesome for someone tall like me, and I can get my feet underneath the seat a little bit. So, you know, you and your friends are going out and you want to get some tall people back here, you can. This seat looks like it's maybe back a little bit more, and the seat is tilted back some, so a little bit less room over there. They are lacking like any type of power outlets back here. They do have center armrest with some cup holders back here, and headrest for all 3 seat positions. Oh, look at this. Now this is really weird as well. black seatbelt for the middle, red seatbelts on the outboard seats. Kind of weird. And then you got the 60-40 split, which is pretty nice to get back there in the trunk. Like every Subaru that we get always has these all-weather floor mats. It's just a Subaru thing, all-weather floor mats.
That's what makes a Subaru.
Kind of a Volkswagen thing too. But they do have these carpeted floor mats in here, which are just like the inside of the car. You know what? Let's just do this. Yeah. Let's get out of there. I might get in trouble with this for my Subaru store, but you know, they'll never watch this. They'll never see this. So really nice STI lettering there, and then the red stitching to complement the interior of this car as well. Pretty sweet. Not even like the rubber, they don't have the rubber spikes on the bottom either, because they got the two hooks right there that just hook in and they don't need to move. And I do know like quite a few people who drive these on a daily. One of our salespersons actually had one of these cars, and it was his daily driver, and I think he's got 1 or 2 children as well. So even if you do a daily driver and say you golf or you just have kids and want got stuff to put in there, I mean, this is a 300 horsepower sports car that you can haul your family around as well. So the trunk is rather large for a car like this. And just to kind of show you, I mean, that goes back there pretty far. Definitely can get a set of 2 golf clubs in there with no problem. And because they know that people are using these as like a daily driver or family car, they have a really cool option. It's 96 bucks that they put this little bumper applique on here, so it goes all the way across, so that way when you're getting things out of the trunk that you're not going to be scratching up the paint. You'll just be messing up this plastic piece that you can take off and reapply down the road if you need to. Good job, Subaru. So let's talk about this engine. I told you earlier in the video that I've never seen one of these stock. I always see things happen to them, and I touched base with a couple of my friends and I said, what's the most common things to do as soon as you get your brand new WRX STI? And you know, they first kind of started off saying, hey, listen, everybody has to do a cold air intake, right? Cold air intake is kind of important. Downpipe, I agree with the downpipe on this. The exhaust on this is way too quiet. You guys know I love great exhaust. Cobb is always the infamous one. You always see the Cobb license plates up here. Everybody puts a Cobb sticker on their WRX. So they put the Cobb tuner on it. They do a full exhaust. You can do the 20G turbo from Cobb, and of course flex fuel is not like the most common thing, but it does happen a lot. To do that, it's only all of that, right? All of that, which I think is crazy. That's only adding about 120 horsepower. So you're going to be about a 430 horsepower car at that point, and it's costing you about $6,000 to do all that, which I think is crazy. Now, a lot of these STIs that I know actually have about 700 horsepower plus. I know a couple with 12 and 1300 horsepower, especially if you were just at Texas 2K, you saw some down there. Now, to do that, like cheap, right? Like not reliable cheap. You're talking to get that done about $35,000 total to get a cheap build to 700 horsepower. Not reliable. If you want a reliable one, you're talking $50,000, $60,000 easy to do that. So this car stickers for $41,058, and we've only got 4 options on here. We got that bumper applique, we got cargo tray, LED map lights and dome lights, the STI short throw shifter, and the all-weather floor mats. And the base price on this car is a $36,995. These things are still built in Japan to this day, which I think is awesome. Japanese build some amazing vehicles. But I'm telling you, the coolest feature that I love about this car and why I did this video was this right here. Yes, these lime green 6-piston Brembo brakes. Absolutely beautiful. The wheels look good. Of course, they're wrapped in Yokohama tires, but yeah, absolutely amazing color. And you guys know I like unique stuff. And my calipers on my C8 are yellow, and of course you guys know my crazy wrap, but that's absolutely awesome, and probably why I would buy one of these cars is simply because of those calipers. It's silly to say, but that makes this car, makes it stand out. Let me know what you think about this STI, and if you made it this far in the video, maybe you should consider hitting that subscribe button and turning all your bell notifications on, because every Wednesday we do something like this. We walk around a vehicle, and then throughout the week we upload based off car business scams and techniques to make sure you get the best deal when you're buying a new or used car. We also have a Discord server and Facebook group. All those links are in the description. Where these cars are almost impossible to get, you can get one from here to there sometimes, and you can get really good deals because the 22 is going to come with a new body style. Now, there's all sorts of rumors out there and nobody has got it nailed down, but when you start looking at prototype and rendering pictures, you come up with a few. This blue one right here, pretty sweet. I love the gold wheels on that one. This blue one here is probably closer to what this car is going to look like in 2022, according to Motor One. But this rendering right here, that's probably by far my favorite. What do you think this car is going to look like, and how much horsepower and engine are they going to use in the next one?